This is a Headgum podcast.
Sometimes when the world feels insane, you can take a little peek inside of Rachel's little brain. All these thoughts are swirling round and round inside. So join us on this journey as we take a little ride. We'll talk about dogs and kids and things. We'll talk about chicks and tampon strings. We'll talk about boys that'll make you cry. We'll talk about death, 'cause people die.
Welcome to Broad Ideas.
Thanks, Rachel.
Oh, she's so cheery today. You'd think it was Friday. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Kevin.
How's it going?
Great. We have Patti Stanger today.
That's awesome.
I did not sound like myself when I said her name. Don't know what that was about. I was channeling, I don't know.
Patty?
Yeah, maybe. Or judge for yourself.
I thought you were going to say, or Judge Judy. One or the other.
That too.
It was awesome. We did like a full dating episode. It was cool. I feel like we're in a nice hot streak of funny weirdos and experts.
Yes, we're manifesting our
my
dreams.
life motto.
Funny weirdos and
Experts.
That's all of my group text.
Okay.
I like it.
I'm ready
Okay,
when
cool.
you're done. We're just chatting away.
I know. I was like,
Look at her cute her shoes are.
Aren't those adorable?
I know.
I love them. She got out of the car. Why?
I don't know.
They're like
They're
so in
so
style
cute.
right now.
I like to be comfortable.
Are they comfortable?
They look comfortable.
I don't know yet. I have to
you'll
walk
tell
a
me
little
at the
more.
end of the day.
Yeah.
So I have a pair of Celine that look good and they're not comfortable.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate.
Yeah. That and Chloe, I switch
Beauty
off
is
sometimes.
pain.
Like, oh, they're so cute, but then yeah,
Beauty is pain.
beauty is pain. You would know. You were on TV.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I had like platform Uggs built for me, so if my feet were off camera and I would still have
Get out of
height.
town.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Is that on OC or the Dixie?
On the OC, yeah. Yeah.
So you know the guy who's the star of Dixie, the one that the really cute guy.
There were
his name.
two.
There were two.
Wilson Bethel or Scott Porter.
Scott, I think it was Scott.
Yeah.
His wife was my casting agent.
Oh,
at
yeah.
Millionaire Matchmaker,
Oh,
and
really?
he followed me in the airport
No.
one day, and he was on Ginny and Georgia. He'd just come
Yeah.
back from Boston, and I was like, I did this stupid show. I don't think anyone's going to watch it. I'm like, I have a feeling it's going to be really good. And he's like, how do you know? I was like, the premise you said is cute. Like, da, da, da. And I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Ginny and
anyway,
Georgia.
his
It's
wife was our
huge.
casting agent.
That's so funny.
He was telling me about, like, she would tell him stories at the end of the day, how the craziest millionaires used to come in. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I
that's
thought
so
that was
funny.
Now Millionaire Matchmaker has a different, it's like, needs to be like,
Well, I'll tell you what we're doing.
yeah.
I mean, I can tell you on the air whenever, but we're trying to bring Millionaire Matchmaker 2.0 where the women are the millionaires, because that's what my real business is like right now.
Ooh.
And that would be, season 4 had a lot of women, and it
Yeah.
was like a test. And if we do that, that'll blow the door off. That's what I want to bring the new improved version in.
There's so much time.
There's
packed
so
with
many
that.
women that are
Yeah.
single, like Jennifer Aniston, people like that. I'm like, the list down in Hollywood, and you're like, well, J-Lo's probably on her next husband as we speak, but like there's a lot going on with women, and it's like the men are just like Bill Belichick, 24 years old, yesterday getting engaged. I'm sitting here going, oh my God,
Are they engaged?
she's got control of him with the money and everything. His family's going insane right now.
Really?
Yeah, she's insane. Well, those girls, and they're so entitled in their 20s. They're like, like they don't want to work. They just want the money.
Wait, who are these people?
He was the coach for the Patriots.
Yeah,
forever.
he's the one that brought the rings to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And
Got it.
He brought the rings.
He's like 70. How old is
Yeah,
he?
he's older. And
Like
his
probably 80.
girlfriend
Got
was
it.
like
I've
in
seen
her
them.
24.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So tell us about that, because there's different
Are we
theories.
on? Are we on
Yeah,
now?
we're on.
Mhm. Okay,
We just get
so
right
you just
into
talk,
it.
Oh, I love this show.
We're just talking.
There's
Yeah,
no,
no.
opening. You can
No,
figure that out
no,
later.
no.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I want a podcast. What the Okay. So there's a thing going on,
Yeah.
half the age or less than half the age in this case. So it'd be Brad Pitt, 30, he's 60. Why? because these girls see a life, it's a Birkin and a plane, basically. That's what they're seeing. And that's important to them, that they have their little Birkins and their private planes and they get to do their content. And in our day, there was no content. So it was just like, oh God, could I spend a whole weekend with this guy, this ugly old guy? Like, I'll be honest. I went
Not Brad Pitt, though, let's be clear.
No, Brad Pitt's
I could spend a lifetime.
But Brad Pitt's an addict. So you get...
So am I. It'd work well.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Stop.
So if you're like, I don't drink. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I was like a non-drinker and I don't have an addiction, I just don't like it. And it gives me headaches. I could not, and I was half that girl's, I couldn't date him. The addiction part will go up and down like a yo-yo. And then he doesn't see his kids. There's a lot going on there to unpack.
I know.
So as much as he's hot, you're getting a lot of other stuff with that. But even George married someone, was it 16 years younger? So these younger girls have more. It's like sometimes they're not even cute, but they're young. And so they like the whole young thing because they can manipulate young girls. They can't manipulate. But in this case, Bill Belichick's getting manipulated.
Do you think that that's really... So
she must be wild in bed or something.
do you think that's really what it is about being able to manipulate them?
Oh, yeah.
So there's theories too, and tell me what you think of this, that the more success a man has, the more money, the less time he has. And for the younger girls, it's less of, you don't have to manage anything else with it. Like if you meet someone at our age, we've got a business, we've got maybe children, big lives that take up a lot. And so we can't really share it in the same way as a 24-year-old that goes, where are we going?
But then again, you've had experience in the field. So you're going to know, like, okay, this, that. Like, she's looking up to Brad. Like, she works in a jewelry company and she's like, oh, whatever you say. And in his world, that's a lot easier than Angelina Jolie.
Right.
Or maybe not Jennifer Aniston, but Angelina Jolie. And so he's going, this is simple. My sobriety is probably on the line. I got to do this. I can't have a wave maker, a wave maker. Now, the thing is, with the younger girls, they maybe appreciate more. They've got their own stuff going on, but there's a lot of narcissism in that 20-something group because of the content that's going on social media. They're obsessed with every little thing they can get their hands on. So their minds are not necessarily in on the guy. When our day, it was like, oh, what can I do? Can I be your secretary? Can I get your cleaning? Can I this? Can I that? Can I cook for you? And they're like, dude, yeah, you go do your thing and I'll do mine. And I'm watching them and there's an indifference that we did not have because our mothers trained us to give. It's natural.
They did.
Women are natural givers by
true.
nature.
Yeah.
It's nature versus nurture, right? So we're natural, give. We're now learning no. Now, how does a man fall in love with a woman? Do you know how?
How?
Sex.
No. Women fall in love through sex. Women fall in love through oxytocin. That's sex. Men don't have oxytocin. Men fall in love through vasopressin.
That's right.
How does he get vasopressin?
Stress hormone.
By doing things for you, not by you doing things for him. And if I could teach one thing before I die, don't do anything. Let him do everything, and he will fall in love. And then he'll fall in love stressed because he can get stressed out by it, which they say is the number one thing. But it's also like fixing shit for you, Like it's fixing like, oh, the IKEA furniture came in today. I'm going to build your bookshelf, or give me your dogs. Let me take them for a walk. Like the more he does for you, and I don't mean just money, the more he does for you, the more he's going to fall deeper. Vasopressin kicks in and then oxytocin kicks in. But you can't have oxytocin without vasopressin. That's the alchemy. That's the science. I didn't make the bodies up.
No, you didn't. And you see it all over the place you're like, why is that wonderful, fantastic guy with this high maintenance girl?
Right.
It's because he's working for it.
And she's probably bitchy.
Yeah.
And she's probably complaining and he's just like gaga. Yeah. I've seen it all the time. I'll see that. And I'll also see if the two break up, he may go to a lesser girl, which I've seen too, where he goes to the simple Sally, who's not as pretty, because he there's a study going on where men are now going for the average girl because they want the peace.
But you're not saying like the only way a guy's going to fall in love is if you do nothing or if you're a bitch or like whatever.
Not so much a bitch because I don't think like you, I can't see you being a bitch.
No.
I can see you being like
I mean, I can
firm and
get
standing
mad,
your ground.
sure.
Right, but not like nasty and snappy and, you know, real. You don't want a guy you push around because then you're going
No.
to really hate him. But I can see you saying, oh, yeah, I can't drive across town. I don't feel comfortable right now. It's dark out. I don't, you know, blah, blah, blah. Come pick me up. I can see you doing that. Whereas, like, if he does little things during the week for you, picks up the dinner, gets the theater tickets, whatever, it's like he's scoring in his mind because he falls in love by doing, because when he does, he feels good.
Mm-hmm.
We're the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
In order to feel good, right? We're the opposite. Think about that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's all science. But we didn't have the science until like about 5 years ago. We didn't know the alchemy of attraction. We were thinking, oh, yeah, the more I give it, like Pat Allen, my mentor, was really great. But she'd say to me, if a guy tells you to do something, you do it. Now, I was trained that way. Or my mother would say, you must be indispensable at work and in love. These are the worst things to give to a woman. I was like, where did I get that? So I was an overgiver.
Yeah.
And also gifts are my love language. So the more I give a gift, whether it's handmade or I bought it at the store. And I thought, oh, I screwed myself. I mean, I really took the last 2 years to take a look at all my relationships. And I've been asked to be married 4 times, but 1 official engagement with the ring. And then I said, what was wrong with all these men? And they all wanted to change me. They were all control freaks. And 3 were narcissists, like my dad. Because we fall in love with what's familiar. Now, what's familiar is the wounds, okay, that we felt as a child, and we get triggered by the person that shows up that's familiar so that we can work at our karma. And you know that from spiritual psychology.
Yep.
And so it's usually somebody that is not the healthy person for you. You have to say, no more. I'm done with this. If you're not healthy, I'm not going out, not putting hair and makeup. I'll stay home with Netflix, my true boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like, really?
Yeah.
And if you can be like that, you'll level up, especially in the law of attraction, you know, with manifestation. You'll level up because you'll start to, the creepies will still come for a minute, and then you'll start to see them before they show up, and you get rid of them right away. Like if you're online and you're talking to a guy, and in 10 seconds, you can tell right away, like, yeah, no. If you're reading vibrational frequency, you'll go, yeah, no. Yeah, no. And you'll know not to get out the door and go, well, I want to go out for dinner. I want to have a nice date. That's for teenagers. Who has time for that? Right? Exactly. It's really, who has time?
Seriously.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and then you go on the date, and then you're their therapist at dinner. I can't tell you how many times they've done this to me. And I'm just like, last couple of weeks ago, I went on a date. I was fixed up with this nice, good-looking, wealthy guy. But I didn't like that he didn't have kids and he was never married, because I like men who are married and have children. And
Get that.
so I get on the date, and the first thing he says to me, and he knows who I am, and, you know, the matchmaker fixed me up, said, all right, don't talk about, you know, your love life, because you're going to go into matchmaker lane. What does he do? Patty, why am I single? What's wrong with me?
Oh,
Stop
no.
it. Oh, he
and then-
wanted you to work.
So I ate my nice dinner around the corner at Dear Jane's, if anybody wants a good fish restaurant in Marina Del Rey. And I'm so excited to get home and watch what's on TV. And I go home, and he goes, oh, I'll call you before you go to New York. Did I want him to call? No. A week goes by, and I'm like, great, he didn't call. He calls. He had the audacity to think that, you know, I would go out with him after a week of not hearing from him at 57 years old. And I said to myself, just tell him you're in a relationship. I said, oh, I met someone. Just he goes, how? I said, I was in New York. I met someone. Like, goodbye.
Yeah.
So now I'm turning him into a client.
Oh. Wait, that's
amazing.
hilarious.
Yeah, and giving commission to the matchmaker. So yeah, because he needs help. He said, "Look, I need help." And the thing is, like, there's a lot of unhealthy men out there because they haven't done the work. Because we were trained, fix yourself, fix yourself, fix yourself. But the men have never been trained to fix themselves. Now they're starting to realize they have no choice because time's running out. Yeah.
You know what doesn't belong in your epic summer plans? Getting burned by your old wireless bill. While you're planning beach trips, barbecues, and 3-day weekends, your wireless bill should be the last thing holding you back. That's why I made the switch to Mint Mobile, and you should too.
With plans starting at $15 a month, Mint Mobile gives you premium wireless service on the nation's largest 5G network. The coverage and the speed that you're used to, but way less money.
So while your friends are sweating their monthly data overage and surprise charges, you'll be chilling, literally and financially.
Mint Mobile literally rescued me from my overpriced monthly phone bills and unexpected overages.
Me too. So ditch those overpriced wireless plans and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month.
This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless plans at mintmobile.com/ideas. That's mintmobile.com/ideas.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5GB plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Many of our friends and family members who have cats do everything that they can to help them stay healthy, from providing the best treats and toys to choosing high quality food. One product that consistently stands out to them is Pretty Litter.
Pretty Litter is a total game changer. It doesn't just control odor and reduce dust, it also helps monitor their cat's health by detecting abnormalities in urine like changes in acidity, alkalinity, or visible blood. Pretty Litter can alert cat owners to potential health issues early on.
It's lightweight, long-lasting, and ships free right to your door.
It's also non-toxic, pet-safe, and household-friendly, offering both convenience and peace of mind.
Right now, you save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy at prettylitter.com/broadideas. That's prettylitter.com/broadideas to save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy. prettylitter.com/broadideas.
Pretty Litter cannot detect every feline health issue or prevent or diagnose diseases. A diagnosis can only come from a licensed veterinarian. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details.
So how do you go about it? Like, what's the process when you have a client and, like for people who aren't maybe.
So a coaching client will come in and I have to figure out what's wrong. And to your spiritual psychology, I read vibration. So in the hot seat on Millionaire Matchmaker, if they were sitting there, I am clairaudient for those in the woo-woo world. I hear a voice, it's usually their guides, and I go, and I can see their past lives and I can tell you what's wrong. I'm like, oh. So for instance, Claudia Jordan from Housewives came on, and she was in a really bad mood that day. My showrunner's like, oh, this is not going to be an easy one. And I sat in the chair and I looked at her and I heard a voice. And he said, ask her what happened when she was in college. She was about 18. And ask her what happened. Okay, what happened? She starts hysterically crying and said, I was raped.
What?
Date raped. And she said, I called my dad and he wouldn't listen to me. I said, okay, we're going to call your father right now. He's like, but I don't talk to my father. Nope, you're calling your father right now and you're going to tell him how you feel. They both started crying on the phone. They had a come to Jesus moment. And, it was interesting because she really broke. And if you know Claudia, she's not a person who breaks. Like you don't see her in Housewives breaking. And that's what we would do. So when I have a real client, I flew to New York a couple weeks ago. I have a gay client and he met someone outside of my matchmaking and he wants this guy really badly. And I went to dinner with them and I had to read both their vibrations and find out what the hiccup was. And then I kind of fix it and sew the little quilt back together. But sometimes they fight me. And that's the worst. So they're paying me and they're fighting me. I'm like, why are you fighting me? I mean, your way hasn't worked.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got to lose if I see something that... And a lot of times it's simple things. Like if you break down and cry because your mommy did this. Like my ex swore to me up and down, my mom didn't love me, la, 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 la. My dad did this to me. And I'm like, oh my God, you're in your 50s, grow up.
Yeah.
But he would constantly complain, never go to therapy. And I said, you know what? This is on you.
Yeah.
Like, I went to Forum years ago. There's I don't know if you guys know, Landmark Forum. It's kind of like Est. And I went years and years ago when I first got to California. And I went in to fix my love life problem because I was picking bad men. I liked that bad boy. The bad boy who turned me on sexually. The nice boy didn't. And I went in there and I'm adopted. And I ended up forgiving my biological mother, which was the real wound, not the men wound. It was that I was abandoned. I wasn't good enough. I don't think I have an issue with, I don't feel I'm pretty enough. Like especially when you get to LA, you're like, not enough, not enough. And the brain keeps saying that, you know, like, and then of course, what happens? You meet people which reinforce that. So I had to work on that issue of my self-esteem, but it really wasn't the men. It was being given up for adoption. And I didn't know that.
Wow.
So we work on core wounds. We work on ancestral lineage, which is really bad. Like my mom, my biological mom was an addict, a heroin addict when I found out. She was on the run. So while I'm in a room, she's probably having anxiety attacks left and right. And that gave me anxiety in life.
The epigenetics of it,
yes,
too.
the epigenetics, which absolutely,
It's so real. And people always say like, oh, well, if the parents are an addict, learn behavior, nature versus nurture. No, they've debunked all that now.
No, it's that. It's more about what the message she was saying.
Yeah.
I didn't go through drugs.
Stress hormones.
I was the opposite. I was like, I don't really want to do drugs. Maybe a little in college, and I smoked weed in high school. But when I got out, now especially, I don't drink. I learned about biohacking. I learned about what alcohol can do to the brain, which we're finding out is like one drink and it's over.
Yeah.
So now I'm learning that. Dr. Amen and all his stuff.
Obsessed.
And Steven, Diary of a CEO, did a great podcast on this the other day. Amazing.
I love him so much.
He did it, and he was drinking. He said, look, this is what he's British. They don't know any other way.
Right.
He's like, this is what I drink every night. She's like, well, let me tell you what that's going to do to you.
I know.
And so.
What does it do to you?
Now they're saying 0.
Yeah.
They used to say, moderate,
like a
mild.
red wine.
Now
of the
they're
retinol,
saying 0
Really?
alcohol.
Yeah. Now, and also weed.
Yeah, weed is
Cannabis.
worse than alcohol for the brain.
For what?
And we
Oh,
used to
just in
think
general.
that
For brain
cannabis
health.
would give you less anxiety, which, the cannabis is super charged. I mean, oh my God, compared to when I smoked in high school, forget it. And so, also the liver is affected. So I'll do castor oil liver packs and stuff. I do a lot of homeopathic stuff on it.
Wow.
Yeah. Which also helps. And if your body is in optimum balance, your brain will be in optimum balance. You'll process more, maybe more than even 10%, which is what we think we use. And the pineal gland will open up, which is our psychic center, and you'll start to be intuitive. Like I had a friend who was almost mugged. So we're walking down the street in New York, and I go right and she goes left, like Madison Avenue kind of thing. And she goes on a left street, and she's about to turn to go to her house, and she just said, I'm not going that way. And she turned around, and right in front of her building, a lady got mugged at the same moment she was supposed to be there.
How
So it's like
crazy.
or like not getting on the plane when the plane's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
crash. It's like your intuition just opens up. And it happens with relationships too. That guy's bad. When you heard the Trouble song from Taylor Swift, even though she went towards the guy, was that the Jake Gyllenhaal? I don't remember who was who. Or maybe it was John Mayer. Not to go there. And so that's how I always think it's really important to listen to the voice on the phone or FaceTime to get an auditory feeling of the guy when you're dating.
What about when you have, because I know for me, even as an addict, I had to learn to stop listening to my instincts.
Ooh, so you have to do the opposite.
I have to do the opposite, contrary action. Because my instincts are there to protect me and keep me out of harm.
Right.
So they will say, numb this, avoid this. They will say the opposite
Interesting.
in order to keep me safe,
Did
right?
did AA teach you that?
Yeah. And everything I've learned as far as, but here, there's a difference between intuition and instinct.
Right.
Your instinct is there to
Because
make
that's the
sure
survival.
the
right.
lion doesn't get you, but your intuition is there to guide you. And
Because you have to know the difference.
You have to
between
know the
those
difference.
So how
So
do you
you
know
have
the
to-
difference?
you have to be regulated. Your nervous system has to be regulated.
So you have to be calm so to make the decisive decision of what to do,
Yeah.
you have to feel calm.
You have to feel calm, and intuition will only speak through clarity's voice.
Interesting.
Instinct will speak through fear,
Wow.
right? And question on the dating front, because I remember there was a situation when I was younger, quite a few situations, where people would say, no, 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 not him. And my body would say, yes, 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 him.
So you were the opposite.
Right?
Yeah.
But I remember one of the last people I dated before my husband,
Yeah.
I had my sponsor at the time. Everybody was like, no. My therapist was like, no. But I had to see it through.
So that was your husband?
No, before
so
my
guy,
husband.
So when you went on the date, when you went out with the guy before your husband, how did it make you feel while you were going through that?
So my body said yes, right? It didn't feel good. It didn't amount to anything, but I had to see it through. And through that,
that's karma, by the way.
I learned to communicate because he was
a good lesson.
He was a nutcracker.
Wow.
So I learned, I'm going to start voicing what I want. I'm going to start saying what matters to me. I'm going to start doing this. So by the time I got to my husband, I felt comfortable and confident doing that because it had been practiced. So if I would have avoided him,
then you wouldn't have learned the lesson.
That's right.
And then you would have messed up with your husband.
Yes.
Right.
So there is this theory in spirituality. We come to earth with soul contracts.
Yep.
And we have a list. Okay. And each list is a lesson till you get to, let's say, your forever love. You know, like she's got a forever love right now. And
right now.
Right now. You've got a forever love right now.
For now.
So each lesson could be really painful. Like it's very painful because it's supposed to open you up to go, what are you willing to settle for? What do you really want out of a relationship? And above all, the lesson you learn is clearing karma from past lives so that you don't maybe have to come back another time. And so when I see people going through appointments or lots of marriages like J-Lo, Elizabeth Taylor, I'm like, oh, those are appointments. They had appointments.
Those are karmic.
Yeah, karmic lessons. Because like even A-Rod, the last one, I'm like, you knew he's trouble. He cheated on everyone. Why would you think he wouldn't cheat on you? You know? And then Ben was probably some twin flame thing going on there. But I look at people and I'm like, and the thing is, you can't tell someone not what to do because there's a lesson there. I have a friend who got just getting over a bad breakup with a girl. And it went on for like 5 years. And everybody's like, every time she would break up, leave. And he still couldn't get the lesson. Now he got the lesson because now it's completely over. But he's in the 2-year window of pain because she hasn't met anyone else. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like my mom would be like, get over another girl. A guy get on top of another girl, right?
That's what my mom said.
Yeah. She must be Jewish.
She's not.
Okay, because she was mother say that.
She'd say it's imperative you handle this like a man. I'm like, what does that mean?
Whoa, she said that?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
When
I
my
husband meet
and
mom.
I broke up, she looked at me dead serious and said, it's imperative you handle this like a man. And I was like, what does that even mean? She goes, move fast.
Yeah, they always do. Do you ever notice men?
I know.
Okay, so men.
She was right, though.
But she's right, because men, 90% of men, not all men, like remember, when we say this, it's not always absolutes. There's always an exception to the rule, you know? But 90% of men go to the next girl because they don't want to feel their feelings. Mm-hmm. So the girl will be somewhat of the other girl. Like there'll be a modeling going on. Maybe she's a younger version, or maybe she looks exactly like the ex-girlfriend. Like it's kind of weird. I've noticed that. Or sometimes they go radical opposite because it's easier, like simpler, like a less pretty girl, a less dramatic girl, a quiet girl that sits in the corner. Like my ex did that. We were like, huh? You've been with every spicy brunette in the world, and now you're with a blonde who doesn't talk, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's very interesting.
It is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And every relationship is a lesson. And as you're saying it, I'm thinking like, God, there's been so many. And, you know, it's different for me because I was in my long term a little younger for a very long time.
How long were you, when you did start dating him, how old were you?
25, maybe?
Okay, so that's a good age. And then how long did it last for?
11 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, we had a kid.
You had a kid. This is not, see, then that person is a soulmate. Because that person, whether it's karmic, if it was a terrible, terrible relationship, it'd be a karmic mate. But if it's it ran its course, let's say you hit the wall or something, that's usually a soulmate and it's meant to be in your life for a while. So that's not somebody that goes away quickly, especially since he's the father of your child. And I don't know, do you have a good relationship with him?
Yeah, we
Are you like friends?
Yeah, we definitely like have a partnership in a lot of ways, you know.
So you guys, like, if you had a problem, could you go to him and talk to him?
I wouldn't say we're friends like that, like because I'm so close to my girlfriends, I kind of just talk to them about things.
But if
like,
you had to go to him for a guy, because he's a guy,
I can go to him for things. Okay, you know. But
so that means it's a soulmate relationship usually, because if you couldn't talk to him, it'd be karmic, hard karmic one.
Got it.
Like in other words, we had a terrible divorce and we have a mediator and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's a karmic one.
Got it.
But having a child, that's a soulmate. Yeah, and that's important. Doesn't mean it's forever. But but I'm sure you learned so much from that. You're going to grow to the next one and have an even better relationship.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since
Yeah.
we haven't
You'll probably
been
get
together.
married the next one. I don't know. I just see that in your energy field right now.
Weird.
How old are you now?
43. I had to
Let me
think about
think for a
it.
second. God, you look like you're 28.
Oh God. Thank you for saying that.
Me too.
45. I feel like you're going to get a relationship in this next year. Either at the end of 25 or the beginning of 26. We'll see.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll see.
I'll tell
Somebody
you as
might
soon as I
introduce
know.
you at a party or something. Something you didn't expect. It's like an unexpected thing. I don't feel like it's something planned.
Oh, weird.
I just see a barbecue or something, like on a deck or
I
something.
love a barbecue.
You like a barbecue?
Yeah, I love a burger.
I'm going to keep it open now.
This girl loves a
I'm going to look
barbecue.
for you now. Now I'm going to look for you. Now I'll put you up on the matchmaker radar. We have a matchmakers institute where we certify matchmakers, kind of like Hogwarts and Harvard had a baby. And then we had a big party last week in New York where 150 matchmakers come in.
God, that's
and there's
fun.
way more than that, by the way. And they go through classes, and then we have a big party at the end. And then we pick people who are on the radar, and a lot of them are celebrities. And we're like, hey, do you have anyone for so-and-so? Yeah.
I feel like I would love that job.
It's a lot
really
of hard
do.
work, though.
No, but I get that. But it's
Yeah.
good work.
I mean, it is and it isn't. Like, I got fixed up when I was in New York with a billionaire, but I was not attracted to him at all. Like, so not attracted. I was like, God, why can't I like this
Bummer.
guy? I mean, my legs were shut. It was sealed.
Yeah.
And he was a little too political for me and a bit Russian. So I was like, I don't know about this. And but I thought, God, the idea of that would have been great.
Right.
You know, 'cause
Right.
he was philanthropic. He did a lot of good work for people. That was the good part about him. He was a nice guy. It just wasn't for me. So I'm like, all right, put him in the back of my mind for somebody else. You know, he comes to California and he lives in New York. So, all right. So there's things like that. Yeah. And sometimes you just come across somebody and you're like, I know that's going to be perfect for so-and-so.
Right. It's
You know?
that's intuition.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I have that all the time. It's like, we call that the knowing. Like we know. And they'll fight me.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many people that have fought me and I'm like, all right, whatever. Don't do it.
Well, it kind of goes back to, you talk about soulmates and karma and all that. One of my favorite books of all times is, what's it called, Rachel? The one I made you read.
the many masters.
Many Masters, Many
Yeah.
Lives, Brian Weiss.
Many lives.
Yeah.
Many
Isn't that the
masters.
best
The
book
best
ever?
book of all times.
And it was so interesting how they sat next to each other in the waiting room. Didn't know?
But he talks
That's
about
crazy.
our soul clusters.
Yes.
Right? And that when we're with our person that we're supposed to be with, I don't remember the way he said it, but it was something along the lines of like, they're going to have a different frequency than we're used to.
Ooh.
Because we all travel at this frequency. So if we're going to stay the same, we're going to play in our own frequency, right? But to really graduate to the next level,
Yeah.
you have to get out of your frequency, because your frequency is the wounds,
That's so true.
right?
That's
and
so
so
true.
I can imagine people fighting you on it because it feels foreign.
Everybody wants the same thing,
Which
the
it-
list.
yeah.
And then I say, but what if you found love and it wasn't the list? Would you care? Now, normal people go, yes, I'd love to fall in love. I don't care how, as long as it makes me feel good. But a lot of men, when you talk to them, are like, no, we want the list. I'm like the ones you saw in Millionaire Matchmaker.
What's
They're
the
assholes.
most what's the list? Like most
The list will
commonly?
be like, I want 5'2" blonde, and I want her to look like this, and I want her to only be between the ages of whatever, and I don't want
Right.
her. I have one yesterday where a guy was a doctor, bad divorce, and he was okay looking. He wasn't great looking. He was Indian, but he wasn't great looking. And so he goes, I want a drop dick where just walk in the room, all eyes on this person. And she's got to be between 25 and 35, and she can't want kids, and she can't want to get married.
Good
I said, I can't.
luck,
So
Chuck.
I have a waiting list. So I said, I can't help you. I can send you another matchmaker. I do that a lot.
You just send people away.
I will not just take anyone just for money. I have a rule.
Wow.
No, I'm very strict on that. And we have not been sued, so we know what we're doing. Yeah. No, seriously. I have a partner in New York, Bonnie Winston, and we have an office in downtown. And we are very strict on who we take. We have to make sure that, we're going to give you what you want. And 80% of the business right now is female. They're the ones coming in, the millionairesses.
Wow.
So hopefully with Millionaire Matchmaker 2.0, we can do that with millionairesses.
Yeah.
Because that's the truth. That's what's happening. Women cannot. I don't know what happened since COVID and Weinstein, but the men are not on the streets. They're not at the restaurants. We don't see them at the grocery store. I was at Whole Foods the other day. I never saw one single guy without a ring on. It's very strange what's going on. They're just not out of the house. I think they're jerking off to porn and, video games and Uber Eats. I don't know.
Are they really?
There's something strange is going on. And it's like city to city. I think the only place that's cranking right now is Miami.
Oh, really?
Yeah, South Florida's cranking. That's one of the top places for men.
Wow.
Especially, they all went down on the East Coast there, got a taste of not just like sunshine, they got a taste of big space living. Like Travis Kelce just bought a $12 million house in Boca Raton.
He did?
And a couple days ago in one of the big communities there. Huh. And people love it there. Boats, yachts, fun times,
no
scantily
state
clad.
tax.
And you can be old there. You can age there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I'm a spring chicken there. I'm young. Like it's like, here I'm like an old lady. So it's that too. They don't make you feel bad about your age there. So it's really a great place for men right now. Plus you get the international community comes there, the Canadians, the Europeans, and the South Americans, big South American community.
You know that moment when you finally get into bed, turn off the lights, but your mind just won't stop? Thoughts of what didn't get done today, what's coming tomorrow, and whether you'll get enough rest before the alarm goes off? Boll and Branch sheets quiet all of that. The softness is so extraordinary, it helps your body and mind drift off effortlessly.
I love their signature hem sheets, and they're made from the finest 100% organic cotton, designed for unmatched breathability and comfort. Plus, these best-selling sheets feel buttery, breathable, and actually get softer with every single wash.
I personally love knowing that they are crafted by artisans who are paid and treated fairly, and you can truly feel the care in every thread.
From the cooling percale sets for those warmer summer nights to soft all-season bedding, Boll and Branch creates the perfect foundation for your best sleep yet.
You can try them risk-free with their 30-night worry-free guarantee. Wash them, sleep in them, style them. If you're not completely satisfied, return them for a full refund.
Feel the difference an extraordinary night's sleep can make with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/broadideas. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/broadideas to save 15% off. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
So do people from all over the world reach out to you? Or
Yes.
is it, yeah.
We're global.
Yeah.
Mhm. We're international.
Okay.
Yeah, one of our clients right now is Paris, and having the best time. We're fixing her up in Paris. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Yeah. And the other thing is that there hasn't been any country we haven't been able to find what we're looking for because there's matchmakers all over the world. So we have a network. Then I have the largest database in the business of the people. I mean, I'll literally put something on Instagram in 5 minutes. My database will fill up. Yeah.
What?
Thank you,
That's
Instagram.
just-
It's so
Thank you,
wild.
Instagram.
It
Thank
is.
you, TikTok.
there's so many, I
Yeah.
don't know, I'm sure so many people, matchmakers, whatever, and I'm sure some are legit and some aren't.
There's a lot of not legit.
I feel
like I saw the show and poof, I'm a matchmaker.
Yeah.
No.
a couple years ago I had like a DM from, do you remember that?
Do you remember who it does? I'll tell you who they are.
I don't know.
We'll go through it.
My
We'll
competitors.
DM you. We'll tell you.
One of the biggest ones in our business died a few days ago from I think it was uterine cancer, and she was quite young. Yeah, and we were very sad about her. Amber's up with the Angels now, but we were very sad because we're a very small community. I mean, it's a lot of matchmakers, but not compared to anything, not like headhunters, which is what we're compared to. And also we do a lot of VIP memberships where we go outside our database and we look specifically. Right now we're looking for a cowboy, like a Kevin Costner type for one of our clients. And we took ads in Cowboys and Indians, and we're networking in Texas and Montana.
Oh my God.
So we're looking for a ranch
you
guy.
really
that's like a
go
show
for
in
it.
itself.
It's like Farmer Wants the Wife.
Outstanding.
Yeah, she wants Kevin Costner. She wants that kind of guy.
Can she get Kevin Costner?
Well, I don't know if she's going to get him, but she might get a Yellowstone type of guy.
Right.
We're all like, I was a big Yellowstone addict, so I love ranch and horses. Like my fantasy is to like go on a ranch and just with a lake and sayonara.
Do you
Yeah.
ever look at the database like for yourself?
Well, this is the problem. They come in and I learn their dirty secrets, like what they've done to women and how they've behaved. And I had all the years I've been doing this, and it's got to be over 35 years. I'm third generation matchmaker. I have never been attracted to anyone.
Really?
Wow.
No, and I weird kind of, and also we were the first ones to do sexual harassment paperwork and training because of what, like matchmakers have to work with us. And I had matchmakers sleep with the clients and I lost my mind, a lot of shit like that. Yeah, we had a lot of drama. It's fact, Andrew Brule, who did the Kissing Booth, is my producing partner, and we're working on a scripted series about my life. But I'm 16 and my mother and my grandmother are matchmakers. And the true story is I was raised Jewish, but always loved Catholic boys. I find out later my biological mother's Catholic. So I used to go to the Christchurch dances in Millburn, New Jersey, and I would fix the people up because the boys would be on one side, the girls were another. One of my best friends ended up meeting her husband that way through me. And I got caught by the priest.
No.
And he made me sit down. He's drinking his wine. He's good looking. He's smoking a cigarette like he's in his 30s. He's like, what are you doing here? Now, I wasn't wearing a Jewish star. Like, I just had a personality. He's like, you don't belong here. What's going on? And then I told him, he's like, you're so good at this. You can come every Friday.
What?
Yeah. And then my mother found out. That was another story.
Oh.
Because she did it for the temple with my grandmother. That's how I became a matchmaker.
They did it for the temple.
I was third generation.
That is so
But
cool.
I think my grandmother's she came from Poland, and we were looking back on ancestry, and I think she comes from a line of matchmakers in Poland. She found my mother's first husband and her second husband. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. She was good at it. She was better than my mother. And she was blind. Yeah.
What?
She went all
Legally
on
blind. Yeah.
intuition.
She had psychic awareness.
Yeah.
She would like literally see somebody and go boom, boom, boom. And my aunt too. My aunt in New York is like really big. She still does it, and she just walks around and goes, "You belong with this person." Yeah, like it's like a puzzle. Yeah, and have parties and bring people together.
What do you see? Okay, so you say they argue you, right?
What? Oh, sometimes.
So like if they come in with their list.
That's kind of like a billionaire, high maintenance Jeff Bezos type.
Okay.
Where I'm not saying Jeff Bezos is like that. I'm just saying like somebody of that caliber, which is so big money, that they're so used to like no one saying no to them.
Give me what I want.
So I fixed up Sumner Redstone. It's a very famous story, and he was kind of like that. But the more he screamed at me, the more I screamed back, the more sex. He goes, "Oh, I'm getting a boner from you screaming at me." Like he loved it. Yeah, talk about sexual harassment. But he was so much fun because I learned really well and I was on my toes.
Yeah.
He actually was like the best training I ever had.
Who did you set him up with?
Oh, well, he ended up with Sydney.
Oh, I
Holland,
know her.
Right.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they got engaged, and that was a whole other story and a half. But
Yes.
he went through 1 million girls. Yeah. And his grandson called me, and Shari Redstone, I met his daughter, beautiful, wonderful woman. And I had a fun time with Sumner because even when he got nasty, I got way more nastier back. And then I realized my father was a fighter, so my instincts came out, and then he would calm down. He'd take me to dinner. He was like an old school gentleman. Very nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. That should be a series. That should be the next Succession, the live of Sumner Redstone.
Yeah.
It's a really great story. Some of the stories
Why do I not
He
know
would sit and
that?
tell me stories, and it would blow my mind. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
who he is.
I do.
Yeah. He was the president of Paramount.
Yeah.
Well, he owned Paramount.
Yeah,
he owned
Yeah.
Paramount. Were
Got it.
you CBS on one of your shows?
I was Fox.
You're
and
Fox for both of them?
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ABC.
CW, right? Was CW
CW,
now?
yeah.
Yeah. I just did a show for the CW last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But they're turning into a sports network now.
Oh,
Are
really?
they really?
Yeah.
What?
4 guys from Dallas own it with the syndicated market. And
Oh.
it's not like with the WB. They can't make those shows anymore because they don't own them. Vampire Diaries and all that.
Yeah.
And the
Interesting.
originals was my favorite.
I didn't
Yeah, I
see
love
it. I
the
know what you're
originals.
talking about,
Oh,
though.
did I love that?
What are
Yeah.
your thoughts on the apps? Because we
Okay,
have a lot of
so-
friends not having good
Okay,
experiences.
let's talk about the apps. So it is not the app's fault. Let's put it this way. The technology is great. We can
Right.
tweak it. We can make it better. Like Bumble has a great interface, right? Tinder's now doing that. Hinge is like coming up from the rear, and they're owned by the Match Group. But it's the people that are attracted to it. So you get on there and it's low frequency. I went to college, I own my own business. And you're seeing, no offense to blue collar, the longshoremen. from Long Beach or Altadena or someplace you don't even, it's not LA proper, right? It's not Studio City. And you're kind of like, what? Like, he has no money.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't own a house. And he's too old not to be married, not been married and have children. And you're like, I'm keep searching. Now, if you go to New York or you go to Miami, it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
But in LA, it's a rough ride. I do not recommend it. Like Whitney did a great job with Bumble. But the problem with Bumble is that, and I heard there's a rumor they're going to make men make the first move too, not just women. That's the rumor, the next step of Bumble. And she just came back and she's amazing. I absolutely love her. But when women make the first move, it attracts feminine men. So you're getting a large surge of feminine men. And they're not that attractive.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, women look amazing. I mean, I was at a party last week and I spent a lot of time talking to Kris Jenner.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say she looks ultra fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Wink,
Everyone's talking
You know what I'm
about
talking
it.
about?
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
We'll go back to Lindsay Lohan, Christina Aguilera. Just give me the doctor. That's all I have to say. And
Is anyone giving up the intel?
Well, there's a rumor.
Okay.
I'm actually going to see the rumor in New York when I'm there. I will come back and report. Okay. There's a rumor it's Dr. Stephen Levine. Don't you go there. I didn't gatekeep on that, but there's a rumor.
Okay.
But the new facelift, the new way they're doing it, it's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. So I'm so curious about it. It's kind of like goes with the biohacking, like your husband's doing. And so we look fabulous. Where's the fabulous guy to go with the fabulous odyssey? So the Boy Sober movement is happening, which is 18 to 40-year-old women have sworn off the app, sworn off dating. It's sad as hell. I mean,
18 to 40?
18 to 40.
That's a
You're
large range.
And by the way, a vibrator's never going to satisfy you like that. So I don't really get it. Because like when I would get upset and people go, oh, just be happy with yourself and enjoy life. I'm like, but I want sex.
Yeah.
I'm a touch person. My love language is touch. And so I would be really angry at those people. Like, what do you mean go about my life? I've seen every country. I've taken every class. I have friends. I want sex.
I don't like that
like
narrative. I've never liked that narrative.
What?
Yeah.
You have to be happy on
I
your
hate
own.
that. Bullshit.
It's like I feel like it's a bullshit narrative, and I also think we're also allowed to want what we want.
Exactly.
If you want to be good on your own, then do that. If you want to be good in a relationship, then do that. But this whole like you need to be good on your own. Well, what if there's a part of me that craves partnership?
That's the thing. So when your mom, like, is like, so in the old days, we'd get pestered. Why aren't you with anyone? Why aren't you with anyone? Kind of like you didn't want to go meet your parents for dinner because they would pester you. Now it's like, be happy with yourself and forget when you least expect it. How do you least expect it? It's always in the back of your mind. You see a cute guy walking down the grocery aisle, you're like, oh, I wonder if he's cute. Let me see if he has a ring. Like, you're not going to least expect it.
Agreed.
So these like lines, I don't know who made this up to put women down, but women want to date equal or better. Water seeks its own level. And they have had problems when they dated down. So right now, princess treatment is a really big thing. So Anna Christina, who I'm working on a reality show with, she does Black Cat Academy. So I don't know if you know about this, because it's kind of cool. I wonder if she did you ever with Hayden. That kind of be a weird thing. I'll tell you about it later. But just to give you a little synopsis, she takes two people that are celebrities, and she goes, he's the black cat, or she's the black cat, and he's the golden retriever. And you want the guy to be the golden retriever. You've seen that, right, Anna Christina? So she's got this theory, and it works. So she took, she'll take Kaya Gerber and Austin Butler, and she's like, he's the black cat, she's the golden retriever, that's why it didn't work out. Or she'll take J-Lo or whatever. But then she'll take a couple that really works, and she'll go, he's the golden retriever. He worships her, he gives her blah, blah, blah. And she does a lot of celebrity, so we understand it. But when you take her classes, it's like, stop doing less. Stop making him that 5-course meal, which my mother trained me cooking is a way to a man's heart. Well, why was I cooking for him? So one day he comes to me and he goes, I want you to pay for dates. I'm like, what? I've spent like $300 to $500 a week at Erewhon. I'm an organic girl. I only cook Erewhon. Like, that counts as money to the till. Yeah. And so like that was one of the reasons I broke up with my ex, because it was like, I couldn't do enough. The more I did, the more he wanted. And the more I got burned out. And then I had to take a step back and go, why? Because in the beginning, he was the golden retriever and I was the black cat and I wasn't really into him. Then one day I relaxed. The bait and switch happened.
Oh, wow.
And so we want to find a true golden retriever for life. Someone
But
who
not
loves
too much
doing.
a golden
Well, not to the
retriever.
point where
Yeah,
they're
because
turned-
we both have very similar taste in men as far as like, we're not necessarily attracted to the golden retriever.
Well, okay, let's look at it this way. Not somebody that gives too much that you doesn't have edge. You still
Yeah,
want
right.
edge.
Edge.
You want edge. So golden retriever with edge. Golden retrievers aren't always perfect. So let's go for a Labrador. Right? Let's go for a Labrador.
True.
They're a little
They're a
less.
little more-
They're not as going to
less
be
predictable.
like. If you say go pick that up to the Labrador, he'll be like, today I'm not really in the mood. Like they're like a cat. So you want a little edge.
A little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but you also want simple things. You want to be able to like, hey, maybe he's going to, I like when a man takes the lead. I like when a man
Yes.
plans. I love a man that picks up the check and makes sure you got home safe if you're driving. And I like manners. Manners go a long way.
Love.
I could go on less money, but if you have manners and you make my life easy, I spread my legs. It's just the way it is, okay? So, like, you know, like you want a guy like that, but you don't want a guy that like takes.
No.
And then you're
No.
burnt because you. So a lot of bait and switch happens. He starts out one way, and then in the middle, you're 6 months in, you're madly in love. You've already got oxytocin, and he switches.
But what about the love bombing?
Well, that's part
epidemic?
of the narcissism. So love
Okay.
bombing. So there's 4 stages. So there's love bombing. Okay, there's devaluation. Okay, there is either reverse discard or discard. So reverse discard means he's mean to you, you leave him, as opposed to him leave you, and then the Hoover, which means he always comes back. My ex is 2 months ago. My ex called me. He's in a relationship with this girl for almost 2 years. I'm like. And we were on the phone for 2 hours. And I got lost because I love his kids. I love his sister. So I was asking questions and he was telling me stories. And, you know, we were on the phone forever till his phone died. And I thought, God, what? He was sick. Where was she? 3 nights in a row he was home,
Gosh.
sick. And he doesn't take off for work. He's a workaholic, sick. And I'm like thinking, where is she?
He needed comfort.
And then I said, hey, you going to move in with her? And she goes, oh, not right now. And I'm like, you're 2 years in. He asked me to marry him at 5.5 months and move in with him. So it's like they always Hoover. And then you have to go, where does the narcissism come from? Okay, my dad was a narcissist. He put my mom and me through XYZ. Let's break the pattern, which is what I do. And I broke the pattern. Now, I can also see narcissists when they're coming, whether it's for love or work. I can see a guy that's so linear that I'm going to get what I get no matter what. That's a narcissist. And then you have a psychotic. There's like different versions of narcissism. So there's like almost like a sociopath where they have no feelings. So it's like narcissism at the next level. Narcissists usually have empathy for themselves, but nobody else.
Oh, that's brutal.
So the number one thing you want is a man with empathy.
Right.
If he did, like my problem was every guy didn't care about my feelings and had no empathy for me, only for themselves. And I had to look back. Taking the inventory like we do in AA and Al-Anon is amazing.
Amazing.
If you take the inventory of all your relationships since you were like in 3rd grade, you could even do your father there and work your way up, you're going to see a common denominator pattern. And you'll be like, oh, like I did it with Kenya Moore on the show. And she's like, everybody cheated on her. Everyone.
There's
I even think her
something
husband
there.
did. What?
There's something there
Right. So why do men cheat?
because they're horny.
There's a million reasons why men cheat.
They cheat because they want more attention. They want to feel valuable.
Well, they want
again.
dominance, that's
Yeah.
for sure. So cheating is not about you, it's about them.
Yeah.
But then you're like, they'll stay with the person after they cheat. So that every time she stayed with the person after cheat, she got another cheater. Why? Because the vibrational frequency is similar and she's not changing the frequency and going, I'm never, if you want your, okay, everything's based on a decision in your mind, right? I am never going to date a cheater again. Okay. The universe goes, great, let's test you.
Yeah.
Let's give you 3, 4 cheaters. What are you going to pick? Oh, you're not going to pick anyone? Oh, you really mean this. Okay, let's not give you cheaters anymore. That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's kind of simple, actually.
Someone was saying something the other day and they're like, oh, well, yeah, it's because, you know, victims attract victims. I said, no, they don't. They attract predators.
Right, exactly.
It's like you attract whatever is the opposite of your wound,
right.
right? So if your wound is victimize, you're going to attract people.
Well, takers attract givers.
Yeah.
Because givers love to give. So 2 givers need to be together to receive, and 2 takers need to be together to learn how to give.
But no 2 takers are ever together.
That's the problem. They don't want to. A taker usually doesn't want to work on himself.
No, they want a giver.
He'd have to fall to the bottom of the bottom of the bottoms to go, holy shit, my life is exploded. What happened here? What did I do wrong? That's rare. A giver will beat themselves up to the pulp until they figure out what's wrong with them. Yeah, and then they have to learn not to give. And it's instinct to give. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I just picked up your favorite, aftershave at the CVS or whatever, and I thought this would be nice for you. Like little things along the way. And then the taker adds it up in its mind and goes, yeah, she gave me this. Let's get more. Because they're never satisfied.
But what if it is 2 givers?
2 givers are wonderful. Wonderful. They take turns.
Right.
And they know how, and then they know how to dodge and dart. Hey honey, you're sick tonight. I picked up dinner. I got you chicken soup. Like that's a good one.
Yeah.
And that's what you should be with. Like, listen, everybody's got a little selfish side in them. Like we all do, right? But generally speaking, women were taught generationally to put themselves last. And that's like instinct. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about instinct before. We have to override that to go, no, not going to do that. And train our daughters not to do that.
Contrary action.
Yeah, because when you have a daughter like you do, you want to train it that they don't have to give to get love. Right. Love is just, you should just be to get love. Mm-hmm. And that's the hard part.
Right.
That's the hardest part of all.
When my husband first started hanging out with me and my friends and my family, he thought we were so weird because he's from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And his mom, their whole family, they don't act like this. It's a blue-collar town.
Are they Catholic?
Yeah.
They're cold.
They're Catholic. Mm-hmm. And he came to us and we're like, what do you want on your plate? Let me make you a plate. Rachel's like, let me massage your feet. My other friends are like, do you want dessert, Jeff? Do you want this? Do you want that? And my mom's like, well, don't sit there. Jeff might like that. See, he was like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like a coven of women that just
That's the way I was with my ex.
To please.
That was the way I was with and he comes from a Catholic family.
Did he find it
I'll give you an example. So one day he had 4 sisters. And one day the sister had a birthday party at the house. Simple, Mexican. She cooked. It was delicious. And I was in the kitchen helping, what do you, girls do, right? And I brought her a present. And I knew she's very bohemian, incredibly hippie. And I bought her these crystal earrings that I had gotten from John of God in Aberdeen a long time ago. I had bought boxes of them and gave them out as gifts. It's like, we do not give gifts for birthdays, because there's a lot of kids in the family. And I go, and he got so mad at me. Well, every time I saw his sister, she was wearing those earrings. It was the happiest day of her life.
But for him, it was a control thing.
Oh my God, God, a twisted motherfucker you are that you can't even be nice there. It's really weird.
Yeah, he was just controlling.
Yeah. And it was in that family, they don't give. And then he's bitching that he's not getting love. I'm like, maybe if he gave a little more, you'd get love. But anyway, the story goes where I'm realizing that the way we were raised, if you were traditionally Jewish, Italian, whatever, you're going to be in these families where they touch and they scream and they love and they feed you because food is love. And then you go to another family and alcohol is love.
Welcome
which
to my
happens, which happens in those Catholic families, they drink a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you better eat before you go to that wedding.
We didn't even get to the weddings. We've only had one wedding.
Real? What about your wedding?
That was the only wedding, but I was sober.
Did you go to did he have a priest?
No, it was a friend from USM that married us.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had a spiritual.
Yeah.
Oh, that must have been pretty and nice.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think culturally, every culture is different. And I know for us, there is a part that's hard because I think when you naturally want to give.
Yeah.
I know for Rachel, example, she's a natural born
You can tell she's a giver.
She wants to give. It's
She's
not
a
like she
pleaser.
thinks
You're
she
a
has
pleaser.
to.
Yeah.
She wants to.
And you're a Virgo, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my business partner's a Virgo. My ex was a Virgo. One of my boyfriends. The one you saw on the show was a Virgo. The one I almost married. Yeah. Yeah. I always got Virgos. My sister's a Virgo. It must be a Gemini thing. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
But what do you do when it's your natural instinct is to...
You have to stop.
Okay.
So you have to practice it. This last year was a no year for me, not a yes year, where I go, no, I can't do that. No, I'm sorry. I had a business offer 2 days ago, which was probably one of the worst business offers, and I was being bullied into it, and I said no. And I realized the more I say no, the more I felt better. Some people are yes years where or you could do yes for yourself, but not yes for everybody else. Like whatever anybody asks me to do, I go yes. It's kind of like an adventure year. But this last year was probably at the end of last year to beginning of this year, it was all no. And I'm learning, no, sorry, can't help you. I mean, I've never said that before. I always help everybody. I'm like, nope, can't help you. Not my problem, not my lane. Yeah. Best of luck.
Boundaries are hard.
Do the same thing with guys you date. I'm sorry, I just didn't feel a connection. Best of luck in your search.
Just so straightforward.
And they love it. They'll call you back and they're like, please go out with me. And you're like,
of course.
They go, no one has ever been that, because most people ghost. And ghosting is probably the worst thing. I think ghosting is probably the worst thing that ever happened to the dating scene since, the apps, because ghosting is so painful, especially if you've been dating someone a while and they ghost. It's got to be the most painful, because you never know why, and you're spinning. And the why usually sets you free. Even if it's hard to take, the why will set you free. She's better in bed. She's prettier.
Shit.
I enjoy her. She's easier to be with. If you found out why, it'd be like, okay, we're not a match. Might be painful, but it's better than going, I don't understand what happened. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been ghosted? Probably not.
Ghosted?
You probably haven't had a lot of relationships. How many relationships? Since you broke up, when she broke up with baby daddy, have you had a lot of relationships?
2, you would call relationships.
Good ones, a year, at least a year each.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good relationship. What about you? Got married when? How old were you?
In your 30s.
Yeah, 8 years ago.
Okay, but you remember what it was like to date before that?
Oh God,
she dated for a very long time.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I did it.
So you got married. You're both the same age.
She's 2 years older.
So you got married later in life. God, you guys look so young. I'm blown away. Whatever you're doing, give it. So you got married later in life. So you had more dating out there, more Sex in the City time.
I had a good run.
She had a solid decade of just dating.
Good run. Okay, so how did you meet your guys 8 years ago before your husband?
How did I meet guys?
Yeah, did you go to parties? Did you
Bars?
talk about how people meet? Because I'm curious. I always ask this question.
I think it was different then because we went out.
Right, exactly. So you went out.
We went to restaurants, to bars,
my
to
thing
clubs.
was Manhattan Beach. I could go to Manhattan Beach, throw a Brock, and there'd be a single guy, and there were clubs and restaurants everywhere. Now it's completely different.
Yeah, so it was different. It would be out, friends of friends, gatherings.
Isn't it amazing how people used to fix each other up then, and now they don't do it anymore? It's weird. What about you? How'd you meet the last two?
One, how did I, out at an event or something?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Were you a CW?
Out in the real
I want to know
world.
this because I once went to a CW on the carpet event. I'm I'm not standing here. I'm too fat. And they were this big. They were the size of that pole.
Stop.
I mean, Joe Manganiello was there. It was the only reason I was I was at this thing for Bravo, and we kind of merged CW and Bravo together. And I laughed and I thought about it because they were thimbles. Seriously. And I was just oh my God, they could walk on the carpet and get anyone. When you walk, did you ever get approached by celebrities other than your ex in Hollywood?
Did I ever get approached?
Approached to ask you out. I was always curious about this.
I mean, whenever I was going out, for the most part, I was in relationships.
Oh, so you didn't have it?
No.
So it didn't be the agent goes, hey, so-and-so just called and you want to go out with so-and-so?
I mean, that may have happened a couple times.
Yeah.
But I would say, from when on my first show.
Yeah.
Until I was just in a relationship and then a relationship,
Right.
So when I was doing all those things, I was not available.
Were you shocked at the success of Nobody Wants Us?
I mean,
wasn't it so good?
Shocked in this, not shocked because they're great.
Right, they're both great
I'm
actors.
actually close with Kristen. obviously I know Adam
Right.
well.
Adam's
or
amazing.
back in
Yeah.
the day anyway, and
Yeah.
he's amazing, and they're both so talented. So I wasn't like surprised that
I thought the kiss
worked
was
so
pretty
well.
hot, though.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it yet?
No,
Oh my
I
God, you
haven't
have to
seen it
go
yet.
see it. You
I
of
don't
all
watch
people.
anything. I know. I don't watch any shows unless I'm on a plane, but I'm going to go on a plane soon.
Okay, so download it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it will be on the plane, but download it.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of new. But they shot the second season pretty quick. It's
Yeah.
Sure did.
I was like, how fast was that?
Yeah, it was so
I've never
fast.
seen anybody shoot that quick.
Me
Without the
neither.
same
I was
thing.
like, did they only give you 4 episodes?
Yeah.
What? But I thought it was interesting that type of show where adults dating
Yeah.
and it wasn't crazy drama.
No,
It
I
was-
love that the
I mean,
premise is
when,
great.
When the mother ate the prosciutto, I was like, oh my God, I love the show.
Yeah.
Like, that was my favorite part. But I was like, we want more of that.
Yeah.
Like your shows, like Heart of Dixie, I still love that show.
Aw.
Best.
Love that show. I mean, I always loved the OC. I was a big OC person because Chris McCaw, come on.
I mean,
on.
Chris
I mean,
McCaw, for
I
sure.
was like, can we have Chris
I'm a Chris McCaw and myself in real
Right,
life. so.
right? Exactly. And I love the father because he was in
Peter Gallagher?
Peter Gallagher. I couldn't remember. He was in the best movie when we were growing up in my generation. It was
Center
called
Stage?
Summer Lovers.
Oh, Summer Lovers.
with Daryl Hannah.
Oh, yeah. That's a
see that.
steamy
My-
movie, right?
I want to go to Greece. I've never been to Greece, and I wanted to go because of Santorini in that movie.
I want to
Yeah,
go to Greece.
you have to watch that movie. It's the best. They have like a triangle love thing.
Yeah, I thought it was like a steamy.
Yeah, and
I
he was
remember
sexy then, really hot.
Super.
Peter's
Yeah.
the best.
Good look. He's
Yeah.
a good look. He's a good looking
Yeah.
guy. But I mean, I wanted shows like that now because it's like you love those Ginny and George and things like that.
These people just want to feel
Everybody
good.
loves Heart of Dixie. So it's like we need.
I watch reruns of it.
Yeah, it's cozy. It makes you feel
Yes,
like
feels
everything
cozy.
is safe in the world.
Yeah. I love
You
when
get
they
to
apple pie
laugh.
and they talk about their
Yes.
problems, you know? Like,
I really love
I
that.
brought you a pie.
It was fun. It was
Yeah.
a fun show.
I
For
love
sure.
that.
For sure.
Did you shoot, where did you shoot in Atlanta?
Warner Brothers. No.
Warner Bros. Here?
Mhm.
Why did it look like it was Atlanta? Oh my God, that's crazy.
I know.
I know, it's crazy.
It was a really good setup we
Like,
had.
and you could go home.
Yeah.
Was the OC shot there too?
OC was Manhattan Beach.
Oh my God, that's like you could still go home. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I know. It's kind of
Nothing's
wild.
shot here anymore. Everything's being shot in New Jersey now.
They're
I
building
know.
studios.
Yeah,
I just saw.
huge studio.
Is it Netflix
And that's where I
building?
grew
Someone.
up. So
I think we could like go on for 3 more hours.
yes,
but
correct.
you'll just have to come back.
Oh my God, I had the
and
best time with you
enlighten
guys. I
us
didn't know it
more.
was like just a conversation.
That's
This is
Yeah,
awesome.
no, we just like
yeah,
to
no,
talk.
it's perfect.
We
Yeah.
just talk.
We did good.
You did
Are you kidding me?
fantastic.
Okay, just
What-
asking.
You delivered on every aspect.
Every level.
This is exactly
you.
why we wanted you here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, like it's hard out there, girls. I'm not going to lie, but all it takes is one, and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember that.
That's right.
One and done.
One and done.
Right and
That's
done,
it.
Rachel. You're next.
Oh boy. What's up, Olivia?
I have a question.
I knew it. I could see it. I
It's
saw
giving
it.
question.
It's giving question mark. We had someone compliment us the other day. You were here, Kevin,
Okay.
and they
Who? Us?
I'm not going to say who.
It was
Okay.
off mic after.
It was off mic.
I still don't even know what you're talking about.
I thought it was going to happen today, too. I mean, it did kind of happen. Sorry, I'm being too vague. It's probably annoying the listeners. Keep going.
No.
I
I-
still have no clue what you guys are talking about.
Well, she complimented us for having our original face.
Oh, that.
Oh, OG.
How do you take that?
Having our original faces?
Yeah.
I mean, in my mind, it's just like not original. It's just what you have for your life.
Right. But in that, it also means you're old.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, that's really brave of you to still have your face.
right. Like you're so old.
I know.
I don't think she didn't mean it like
No,
that.
I don't
She
think
was
so.
the sweetest,
No,
most
she was
precious.
just happy that we haven't
everything.
had
She
work
was just
done.
happy we hadn't had work done.
Yes.
Totally.
I didn't even.
But
that
to your
didn't
point,
even,
that
like-
was the first time I've ever seen that compliment given.
really.
I think so. I don't know.
I didn't even think of it that way. But now that you say it, it's basically like you're so old and you still have your face.
Yes. That's what it is.
Oh.
I did enjoy watching the I don't know. It wasn't given to me.
I
So-
loved it.
Yeah, me too.
It's not that, but it is just weird once you get over to the other age of
Sure.
life and you're like,
Uh-huh.
wait, I'm the guy with the original face now?
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's just,
See, and it didn't even occur to me.
That's good.
No, but now it's all I can think about. Like, fuck, we're old.
Wait, you didn't?
No, didn't even. I was like, oh yeah, like I didn't.
Yeah,
even
my face.
Like, not for a second did I actually realize what it means. How
Oh,
sad.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
interesting.
Getting old is hard. Someone told me yesterday that there's like 2 big aging bursts,
Mhm.
and it's at 44 and 60.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Interesting.
I believe so. Because that's when the hormones change.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I was told this yesterday, and I'm turning 44 this summer.
Yeah, that's a big. We're going through some big hormone shifts. You know what Jeff brought up that I think was interesting? He's like, it's really weird to watch. He's like, watch you transition into a new stage of hormones because he can feel it. And he's like, and watch your mom transition into a new age of being elderly in a sense. And he's like, nobody really talks about the multi-generational transitions that happen at the same time. So if we go 3 generations, it'll be when Briar hits puberty, you're going to be hitting menopause and your mom's going to be hitting like...
I was going to say a really dark joke.
But it's like they don't really talk about that. And then you're all supposed to live together and commune together while you're all going through crazy ass
Yeah,
It's
transitions.
is crazy.
It's weird, right?
totally.
The fuck?
The fuck?
One of my neighbors has 3 generations living in the same house. And I think about that a lot, of the 9-year-old hanging out with the grandpa
Yeah.
and the mom's, part of it and stuff too. And just those transitions specifically are, I don't know, they're very interesting. And going, like you said, going through them together
Yeah.
too is very unique.
Yeah.
And
that's
kind of nice.
It's kind of weird, right?
Puberty and like.
So you're going to be
menopause.
the edgiest you've ever been when you hit menopause.
And
'cause-
she's going to
gonna be the edgiest.
Wonderful. That's something to really look forward to.
Isn't that wild?
That is unfair.
It's kind of
Tough.
unfair.
Yeah.
I dropped my mom off at home the other day and
It was yesterday.
and I picked up the kids and Elliot goes, why is Cece not, they call her Cece,
Yeah,
you
I
know
know.
that.
Because of the candy.
Yeah. They were like, why is Cece not here?
Uh-huh.
And I said, because she went home. And he goes, oh man, I'm so disappointed. I said, oh, that's so sweet. You wanted her here? He goes, no. I wanted to do the grandma brain rot challenge. And I'm like, what is that? And he's like, you put butter in your mouth.
Oh, it's really.
wow.
I thought you meant he was just going to question her to see
Yeah.
what was left up there.
That's a better one. Let's just ask as many questions and see what's
And
left.
see what's left. 100%. I thought that's what that
I'm
was.
crying. That is such a good challenge. We should start that
I
one.
know. We could do it to ourselves.
We're
OG faces.
doing the Rachel brain rot challenge. I'm going to put butter in my mouth.
Wait, so what is it? You put butter in your mouth? She's lost it.
I would not have guessed putting butter in the mouth.
No, did you think the same thing I did?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be some sort of like.
So you put butter in your mouth
Oh.
and you ask them to repeat as many brain rot phrases as possible
What the
without
fuck is a brain
laughing.
rot phrase?
So any of this like new generation stuff, like their
Like
language,
Riz?
all of that. So you would have her.
With butter in your mom's mouth.
No, the butter's in Elliot's mouth.
Oh.
And his job is not to laugh. But I guess it greases the mouth, so it makes it really, if you have
Spit.
butter all in your mouth, it's really hard not
Yeah. It's kind of like
to smile or laugh.
we used to put marshmallows in our mouth and
Yeah.
do a similar thing where you try to not make the other person laugh.
Pudgy bunny.
Yes. My parents were not fans of it.
What?
I knew it was something bunny.
She just had that like
Pudgy bunny, yeah, of
on
course.
the ready.
Yeah. I was
like-
waiting my whole life.
That's what it was like. She's like, yes. Finally.
Finally, someone organically brought up Pudgy bunny.
She
Been on my vision board.
Oh my god. Oh.
Oh, God.
Okay.
So now I do want him to do the grandma brain rot challenge.
To your mom.
Yes. I want him to do it to you.
I basically...
Rachel and Elliot. So Rachel and I have this thing where once you've seen it, but like once we start laughing and then we'll get in this laughing thing and we can't stop and we don't even know what we're laughing about anymore. Yeah. She had it the other day with Elliot and it was so...
My 9-year-old son.
Cute. I was like, oh my God, they're doing the thing.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
You really did it.
That's
It's
awesome.
when you catch the laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Elliot
you
and I
don't
were
really
in
know
it.
what you're laughing at.
Neither one of us had a single clue what we were laughing at. But we were in it and committed.
It was
my
cute.
favorite.
I like that. That's what's fun.
It is. That is what's fun, Kevin. Can we do a
I'm
challenge
sweating.
one time in a post?
Yeah.
Like, or whatever?
Yeah.
Like a brain rot challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want butter in my mouth.
I don't
I would do
either.
marshmallows, though.
Yeah, we'll
Oh,
think
like
of
a
something.
pudgy bunny.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
We're going to make Olivia's dreams come true.
But like those are some of my favorite memories is like with a group of friends and they're trying to tell a story and they can't finish it because they're laughing so hard.
Yes.
And the reality is like that becomes funnier than the story itself.
Totally.
Yeah.
But just watching your friend break.
Lose it.
Yeah, is so fun.
It's so fun.
It's really fun to catch the laugh too.
Mhm.
Like if you
Yeah.
witness it and you're like, I don't know what they're laughing at,
Yeah.
but I'm in
I'm
on it
in.
now.
Mhm.
It's the weirdest
It is. but
if
it's
someone
happened.
just sits there and watches and doesn't.
Oh.
But I
break
think
it
that's
all.
what we've been talking about. I feel like the last few is
Psychopaths.
looking for someone.
Who gets
And it's
the
not
funny?
who gets the funny in a way where it's like you don't have to be hilarious, but if we're all laughing and you're like, "What is going on?" It's like that's no fun.
That's no fun.
My
That's
favorite-
not what's fun.
Yeah, that's not what's fun. Not Pudgy Bunny. Very not Pudgy
Not
Bunny.
Pudgy Bunny. My favorite was when Gareth was leaving
Mm-hmm.
and you were like just talking and he thought you put your hand out to shake his hand.
And I stabbed him.
And I started dying laughing and then he started dying because like he thought you were just talking like your mannerism and he went, huh? Like to shake your
It
hand.
stabbed him. My nails stabbed him in the hand.
Oh,
Because
man.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Da-da. And he was like, came in. He's funny.
He's
He's
amazing.
funny.
He will be next week's episode if you're when you're listening to this. But my grandma did a similar thing to me a couple years ago where it was like peak COVID and she's in her 90s, so we wanted to be careful. And so instead of giving us a hug, she did a fist pound, but I don't think she's ever done a fist pound in her life. So she had her fist very high, like very high above her head. I didn't know what was happening, so I thought she was kind of doing a like bring it in thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, like goodbye. And I just like embraced her, and my mom's like, no, that was a fist pound. And I was too embarrassed on her behalf to be like, Grandma, you could just like do it like at chest level. It's not like a slam dunk. But I just keep thinking about her
With
fist
her
bump
fist
like
bump.
above her head.
Did
Was
she embrace the hug?
kind of awkwardly. She was like, yeah, well, I guess we'll hug. I was like, we always But I should have realized like, yeah, it's 2020.
Oh
so
my
it was
god.
insane. Yeah.
That's
That is
amazing.
really funny.
Yeah.
What happens as we get old?
Yeah.
You just don't get things.
You just don't get it.
No.
Like even spatial awareness.
Mhm.
Oh.
I watch that with people
Everything.
and I'm like, that's interesting. Like they can't tell there's people around them or that they should move off of the sidewalk. Like
Yeah.
it's
She lived at a
fascinating.
retirement home for the last 6 months of her life, and she would just openly talk shit about, there he is, that son of a gun. And my mom would be like, he can hear you. She's like, no, he can't. But it was the same thing where it was like a spatial awareness thing probably, or just like,
right.
Just or don't give a fuck.
I think it's a combo.
Maybe it is. I
You
know
know?
Sal's there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want him to fucking hear me.
You in an old folks home.
I already belong there.
Wait a minute. That is the best
Right?
visual.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be like, I don't want mushrooms.
Hate mushrooms.
We'll go to my old stomping ground, the one I worked at
Oh,
Where was that?
in Westwood. It was very expensive.
Oh, really?
It was
a nice
crazy.
one.
We would like go to the movies, and then when we'd come back, we would like do a little tour of the neighborhood, and we'd drive around these homes that are, like $20 million homes. And they'd go, I lived there from 1970 to 1998. I'd be like, oh my God. Yeah, it was really cool.
Wow.
Did you get those ice cream sandwiches?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What?
Westwood. You can't go to Westwood and not get the ice cream sandwiches.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dee Reese, is that what it's called? I forget.
I think so. Yeah. We went everywhere. It was
They make
awesome.
them, they freshly bake the cookies and they're warm.
She really
Yeah, she
number
owned
one,
it.
hungry and loves
But you
sweets.
get to pick your ice cream and your cookies and they make you
They do
homemade.
that somewhere else too.
So good.
That sounds good.
We went to a French restaurant once, and one of the residents there was like, can we have a baguette with the, like, as we're waiting? And the waiter was like, we don't have baguettes. The way she roasted him of like, so we're all at a French restaurant, no baguettes. And he was like, I'm sorry. And she was like, looked at me like, you got to pick other spots.
That is
amazing.
hilarious.
I love the free, no filter
Yeah.
of
The
that crowd.
snippety.
It's
my
fun.
favorite.
It's
My
very
mom
fun.
got snippety the other
Sitting
day.
and just talking. Yeah. What?
Nope.
Do you have a
Say
story
it.
about her snip?
No, sitting and
that's- no,
talking.
just sitting and talking with that crowd is my
Mhm.
absolute favorite thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We should drop you off.
I would be thrilled. I thrive
I know
in
you
that
do.
community.
Yeah.
No, my mom snipped at me because we were in the living room and she had on SVU.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you've ever watched SVU, it's oftentimes like
Not kid friendly.
The most horrific crimes.
correct.
Yeah.
So Elliot comes in and he wants to do his homework at the table
Brain
in
rot
there.
challenge.
Yeah. No, and I was like, Mom, can you turn off the SVU?
Mm.
And it was like a kid that was talking about like something harmful to
no.
them, you know? And she looks at me and she goes, oh God, like it's any worse than their cartoons. And I went, what? I was like, the things I've heard on their cartoons.
Oh my God.
I was like, Mom, you're not hearing about child
Murder.
murder
Double homicides.
And, yeah. And then later she apologized. She goes, I don't know what that was about. I guess I really wanted to watch SVU.
Sure. Yeah.
She owned it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I appreciate when people own it.
Me
Yeah.
too. Most people don't.
Most people don't. Well,
we
all
do.
right.
I knew it.
Let's
We're
go
going
get
to
ice
own
cream
that this is
sandwiches.
the end of the episode.
They were owning it. Owned it.
Owned it.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
That was a Headgum podcast.